Bodo Glimt 0, Arsenal 1. Yes, people, white football in Arsenal have mastered an away day performance to go 9 points for 9 in the Europa League Group stage this season. As always, as I do, I'm reacting to every single Arsenal game. Let me know your thoughts of this match in the comment section down below. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe on my road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's talk about a game that, let's be honest, wasn't the best. If you're watching it as a neutral, you'd be bored. But Arsenal did the job today, which was getting the 3 points and getting one step closer to qualifying to the knockout round of the Europa League. We had a few players that had standout performances. Make no mistake, I know we're Arsenal, top of the Premier League, and we're playing against a Norwegian team, which obviously quality-wise aren't as good as Arsenal. That doesn't change the fact this was going to be a hard game for Arsenal, away from home, in a hostile atmosphere. Their crowd was fully at it. Artificial pitch. The weather wasn't the best. It was a very cold day. You saw all the players with their long johns on and everything. It was not going to be an easy game, especially with the fact that this team has won 14 in a row at home in Europe. But we came with the 3 points, and that's exactly what we need to do. It shows the steel and the determination in this team. We're not going to win every single game in convincing fashion like we did against Brentford, for example, 3-0, where from start to finish we were just the best team and blew them out the water. It's not going to happen. You have to be realistic. You're not always going to play your best. And today, that was one of those days. We didn't play our absolute best football, but we came with the 3 points in a difficult overall game. A player that I thought had an outstanding game today was Matt Turner in goal. He didn't have a lot of saves to make, but just the fact he was composed and always he had his brain switched on, because a couple of times they were playing balls in behind and he was out racing to get it, collect it, and then redistribute the attack. That is a goalkeeper that, despite not being involved in the game throughout and not having a lot of saves to make, was always switched on and ready for those balls in behind. That's really confident goalkeeping from Matt Turner, who in previous times and games for Arsenal hasn't had the strongest of performances. I remember in his first ever game, the friendly against Nuremberg, he let the ball go through his hands basically for one of the goals. But this was really good from him, especially the fact that we can't rely on Ramsdale every single game, because who knows, he may get injured. So having Matt Turner there, who played really well today, is really reassuring for the defence, Mikel Arteta, and of course the fans. In terms of the team going forward, I noticed that a lot of the first team players that did play were the ones that didn't play last week. For example, Xhaka, Gabriel Martinelli got a rest today. They came off the bench, in fact, whereas last week they were starting. So players instead like Odegaard, Saka, and Saliba and Ben White got the start on this occasion. We're seeing that Arteta knows that he hasn't got enough players to fully rotate man for man. We can't bring out a fresh 11, but he's doing the next best thing, which is giving players 2 out of the 3 games in a way, which makes it easier to rotate, and it still keeps them fresh, but they're not getting overloaded with football matches. Because make no mistake about it, next week against Leeds, well, I say next week, in a few days' time, on Sunday, is a massive game again. Every game in the Premier League is a cup final if we want to go somewhere this season. We cannot take our foot off the gas in that league. So players that need to be rested for the Europa League, I'd rather they be rested for the Europa so they're fit for Sunday, then the best players playing the Europa League, and we have all our players gassed out when we have to play Leeds in a very entertaining, and it'll probably be an intense match over Elland Road on Sunday. But yeah, in terms of this game itself, when we changed the system a little bit, we had Lokonga holding and then Odegaard and Vieira being like 2 number 8s, 2 box-to-box players. I thought Odegaard was alright. He got on the ball often, making a lot of plays happen. Vieira, on the other hand, was really quiet. It was really sad to see, because these players got a lot of potential, played really well in previous games for us, especially last week against Bodo Glimt. He was the heart of everything positive that Arsenal performed in that game last week. But today, he was basically anonymous. I can barely remember him getting on the ball, making things happen. Don't know whether it was the system and whether he needed another defensive midfielder so he would be further up the pitch, or I don't know whether all the play was going to Odegaard, so he just didn't receive the football whatsoever. For one reason or another, he didn't really have his best game, Vieira. But of course, we've got other players in the team that can make up for it. But yeah, that just really wasn't the best thing to see, especially considering the fact I was looking forward to seeing Vieira play. Nelson as well, he got his first start in God knows how long. Really nice to see Nelson start. He's definitely a player that's been on loan a few times, Hoffenheim and Feyenoord. And if Arteta is proving to be a great manager and a great coach, can he coach Nelson? Because we all know Nelson has potential. You don't go through the academy, you don't get through all the way to the starting level if you're a bad player. The problem with Nelson is there've been players younger than him, like Bukayo Saka, like Gabriel Martinelli, and even Marquinhos to an extent so far. They've just outshone him at a younger age. And I don't know whether that's work ethic or if that's commitment, discipline, I don't know. But for one reason or another, Reiss Nelson, who was on the same path for those players, didn't have the same trajectory as the likes of Saka's and Martinelli's. But let's see if Arteta can reignite that form. He's going to get a run in these Europa League games. He got hooked quite early in this game, which I thought was a bit of a shame, especially with the fact he was taking people on. But if you can get him on the training ground, if you can get a motivated and a disciplined Reiss Nelson, who knows? Because that spare winger spot is up for grabs. Emil Smith-Rowe is injured right now and he's going to be back post-World Cup. So there's a few months now and who knows? God forbid Martinelli or Saka get injured. We're going to need a spare winger on the pitch. And if that happens to be Reiss Nelson, he needs to be ready to step up. Because this Arsenal team in the Premier League right now, we're gunning. We haven't got time for any passengers in this team whatsoever. So we're going to need a lot of our players dedicated because we've got a very thin squad. And if something does happen injury-wise, which we of course hope not, we need the next man up to be dedicated and ready so it slots in seamlessly or as seamless as possible. But let's get into the player ratings now. In goal, Matt Turner. For me, won the man the matches for Arsenal today. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Didn't really have much to do. If anything, Bodo Glimt's finishing was really poor. It just highlighted the golfing quality between the two sides. Because I don't think Bodo Glimt played bad football by any means. We had equal opportunities. It's just when they got in front of goal, that final pass, that final shot was honestly League 1, League 2 level. A couple times first half with the player just completely whacked it well wide of the target. But like I said, his awareness and the way he read the game at turn today, brilliant. Second to none, in fact, 8 out of 10. Right back, Ben White. Wasn't called upon as much as he was against Liverpool, but still a decent shift in there, 7 out of 10. Equally, Saliba, 7 out of 10 as well. I think Rob Holding played really well as well. I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Especially with the fact that Rob Holding isn't a starting player for Arsenal in the Premier League. He knows his role. He's a player that's going to play in the Europa League fixtures. He's that backup centre-back. But he comes in and always seems to play well. He plays like he's never gone missing in the side. It was really nice to see from Holding. A true professional and a great game today. Tierney next to him, I'm giving him a 7 out of 10 as well. He must have been really annoyed, Tierney, to not play against Liverpool last week. Given the fact that a right back replaced you in the side. Oh, it's a bit of a dagger to the heart there for Tierney. But came in, pulled his socks up and had a decent game. In midfield now, Lokonga, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. You can tell they were getting in the middle of us a bit too often for my liking. But Lokonga, overall, he's getting better when I see him. He's definitely improved from last season. Last season, I'd go as far as saying he was a liability when he was in the team. Now he's not a liability anymore. I wouldn't necessarily say he's an asset and someone that you can really say, wow, like I'm full confidence in him. Like the team that he's gonna anchor the back four perfectly. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but he doesn't bring the team down as I would say he was doing at times last season. He's just a decent squad player and a decent role player and had an overall alright game today. Moving up the pitch, Vieira, I'm gonna have to give him a 5 because he really didn't do anything. He really did not do anything whatsoever. I'd like to see how many touches he got on the ball if I had the stats because it couldn't have been a lot. I barely remember him doing anything. It's unfortunate because I do have a lot of faith in Vieira. And we've seen already he's a quality player, technically gifted footballer. But for one reason or another today, he didn't really do much. Ødegaard next to him did a bit more. I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. Got on the ball, pulled the strings, got hooked off early in the second half to keep him fresh for that Leeds game. Good overall play from Martin Ødegaard today. Moving up the pitch, Saka, the game winner for Arsenal. Scored in what seemed like ages ago now. It was a bit of a lucky goal. He shot it, it deflected, then back off his face and into the net. I don't think he'll score a luckier goal in his lifetime, but it doesn't matter. It's what got Arsenal the 3 points. And I'll give Bukayo Saka an 8 for his goal. On the other side, Reiss Nelson, 7 out of 10. Decent getting on the ball, couple skill moves getting past players, but just something was missing from his game. It was that final shot, that final pass. Just couldn't quite execute it to that high standard. And then Nketiah, I thought as well, had a very quiet game. I'm going to have to give him a 6 out of 10 to be honest. Didn't really have many shots, if anything. Wasn't really electric like I've seen him in the Europa League. This is his stomping ground, his competition normally for Eddie Nketiah. But just wasn't quite at it today. In terms of subs that came on, of course, we had Tomiyasu come on. We had Xhaka come on. I'm trying to think who else came on. I can't even think. Tomiyasu, Xhaka, Martinelli came on as well. A lot of them didn't really have much to do. To be honest, I'm just going to give them all standard 7s out of 10. Because overall, the team at the end of the day, right, got the 3 points. And that's what matters. We've got PSV next week. Instead of playing the Man City game, we're playing them. If we get another win at home against PSV, which I do expect us to do, that's 12 points out of 12. And I believe that Europa League at that point is locked off. We can literally play the under-15s in the final 2 games, man, for all I care. That's exactly what we needed to do. Let's just get this Europa League fixtures done and dusted early so we can then go back to what we were doing last season, which is basically playing a match every week that we care about or that matters to that extent. But yeah, overall, good result by Arsenal. Wasn't the most entertaining game for the neutral, but we take it. We take the 3 points. And if we win 1-0 against Leeds on Sunday as well, I'd definitely take that as well. It's been Football. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe down below and also like down below. Let me know your thoughts of the game in the comment section. And I hope to see you lot in my next video.